Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to look at how to place text onto your game screen. You can use the default fonts that are already installed on your systems. But if you want to be a little bit more creative, you can go and download more custom fonts. Be careful with the licensing on some of these. Some of them are not available if you are producing a project that you're going to try and sell. Okay, but if it's just a personal project, then most of these will be fine. So the one I've downloaded at the moment is this Martisan script. When you download it, it will come as a zip file. You will need to unzip that, and then you'll get access to the font files. So this is the one I'm going to try and use. You drag that onto your folder at the top, okay, and then refactor. Then I'm going to create a new directory inside of my game called fonts. And then I'm going to move it into there, just so I keep everything nice and tidy. Okay, so it's now inside of this folder. Okay, so now that's set up, first thing we're going to do is create this font for our game. So I'm going to say font equals Pygame fonts. And in here, we've got to give it the name of the font. Now, I have to make sure I type this correctly. So it's in my fonts folder. Oh, sorry, it should be in quotes. Fonts folder / Okay, and you can see PyCharm was helping me. The moment I started typing a few of the letters, it then auto-completed for me, which was great. After that, we need to state what size. So I'm going to set it to 36 for the time being. The text, we need to then render. So we want to use the font that we just loaded, and we're going to render the text. Let's do something straightforward. Normally, I would have this turned on. This is for anti-aliasing. It will generally make your text a little bit clearer when it's put on the screen. And then the next setting is the color. Now, this is a color that I have set up in my settings here, and I imported it at the top, okay, from my settings, so I could use it in my project. Okay, so once that's all set up on, so this is rendered, it's ready to go, but at the moment it won't appear on the screen. It's kind of all just sitting in memory at the moment of the computer. So down here where we do a lot of our actions in our game loop, here we filled the whole screen with red. So if I drew the text before, then it's going to draw the text to the screen and then fill the screen with red, and we won't see anything. Okay, so you've got to think a bit like an artist would. You paint your background first, and then you layer the things on top of that. Okay, so this command is really important that it comes after our screen fill. We're going to blitz to the screen, okay, which is basically drawing, and we're going to blitz the text that we had at the top. The next part is then a tuple, and we need to pass it an X and Y coordinate for the screen. Remember, in game development, the left-hand side of the screen is considered the X0, and the very top of your screen is considered the Y0. So the bigger the number for X, the more the object will move towards the right, and the bigger the number for Y, the more the object will move down the screen. Okay, so I'm going to place it at 50 and 50 just to test out. Okay, so we created our font object, we rendered with that some text in black, and then we've drawn it on the screen at position X50 and Y50. Okay, let's see if that works. Excellent. There we go. We've got our font on our game, and it's using a nice custom font as well. If by chance you don't want to go through this at the moment and you're just practicing, you can set the font name to none instead of having a custom one, and it will use the default font in your system. Okay, so if you don't have time to go and sort out a custom font at the moment, then you could do that instead. Okay, I hope that's proved helpful.